with the first recording in the series of how to improve your chess. I would like to appeal to serious chess players who would like to improve their game, who are willing to invest time and effort to improve their game. We're going to talk what do you need to do to become better. In few seconds, I will bring on the screen the outline of 4 major things you need to do to improve your chess. And when you will see them on the screen, then I will go over them one by one, explaining what each of them means and how exactly to do that. The first one is analyze your own games. Most chess players just play chess. They very rarely go over their games. They feel like their winning or losses are, when they win, they most likely feel like they deserve to win. And when they lose, a lot of times they feel like it's a bad luck or bad opening knowledge. It's almost always like shootout things. If you think about that, how often in the whole of the chess tournament you can hear this kind of conversation. How did you do? Oh, I just blundered terribly in winning position. What about you? Oh, I was up a queen and in time trouble I missed checkmate and won. If you hear this type of conversation, you have a feel that you talk to the two most unluckiest players in the world. And needless to say, whatever happened in their games is a result of their mistakes. Whether it's a terrible blunder or loss on time in winning position, there are problems which they have, and they can improve those problems. So the whole idea of analyzing your game is to reveal your mistakes and to avoid those mistakes in the future. Here maybe we can touch on the question of whether you should use chess engines while analyzing your games. And I would like to say that when you start analyzing your games, you probably should not chess engines on. Unless your rating is below 1300, you should try to find the losing mistake, at least one losing mistake, before you turn the engine on. And that's how you do that. You go toward the end of the game where you either got checkmated or resigned, and you go back and try to find the moment when the position turned into the lost one. So this way, if you will be able to find your mistake by yourself, you already will be learning. So it will be much more useful than just turning the engine on and engine telling you where the final mistake came. Needless to say that for players 2000 and above, chess engine, as powerful as it is, sometimes will not be able to tell you exactly where you made a decisive mistake, though probably in most cases it would. Let's say after analyzing your game and then checking with the engines, you already know where you made your mistakes. Here comes the second point. Try to find pattern behind your mistakes. Here is what I mean. Let's talk about, let's say, bad blunders. Let's say that the majority of games you lose because you make some kind of bad blunder. Even when you make a blunder, the same blunder could be made because of different reasons. So try to understand, first of all, what those mistakes are. Like, are they bad blunders? Are they maybe positional mistake, which have kind of the same pattern? Like, let's say you always end up with a bad bishop. I'm just giving, just one example. Or you always are in time trouble when you make your mistake. or you always maybe attack and then you lose. So when you put those mistakes next to each other, there is a good chance that you will see certain patterns. Now we're going to move to third and maybe the most difficult one. Think, why did you make those mistakes? This is indeed a very difficult moment, because to understand why you make those mistakes is quite difficult. In matter of fact, very often, why I ask, why did you make this move? They can't explain it. So, and which is not good, obviously. However, it is possible for you to go over your moves and try to remember what did you think during the game, and try to establish what went wrong. Here are a few examples. Let's say that you, by the way, this is very, very common problem. Maybe I will go over certain patterns and will show several common problems. Okay, the first one. You are attacking the opponent's position. So you calculate exciting line where you sacrifice rook and checkmating. You play the first move of your combination, and all of a sudden, instead of checking your rook, your opponent attacks you on another side, and you see that you're one tempo short. Instead of checkmating him, he checkmates you. So the conclusion is very simple. You underestimated the opponent's resources. You were so much in love with your own attack that you didn't even notice that your opponent is about to checkmate you. Or here is another example. Let's say you defend for quite a while, and then you all of a sudden see a chance to attack, but it will become double-edged. So you can either continue to defend or try to counterattack. And during the game, you are not sure which one is better, and you fall back into passivity. So you play a defensive move. Then clearly the lesson is that you need to be more aggressive. So you need to overcome your fears. So those are kind of, two completely opposite problems, which I mentioned: underestimating your opponent's resources, and the second one, thinking only about what the opponent can do and not even trying to improve position of your own pieces. Very, very rarely, it's almost never, the same person has both those problems. So usually you are either the first type of the player or the second type of the player. And this is just one of many patterns which you can see. But depending on which one, you can decide which course of action to take. Okay, another very common problem, time travel. So let's say that you found out that, in majority of your games, you are in time travel. Now, think, why did you do those mistakes? Most likely you will not be able to answer this question. I just know that I spend a lot of time on my moves, but I don't know why. It seems to me that the reason why I do that because position is too complex. That's usually the answer I can get from almost all time travel addicts. I was afraid of that, I was afraid of this, I didn't like this move, I didn't like that move. So, what the mistake was, but you don't know why you made those mistakes, or maybe you know, but you don't know how to improve them, which will be our next topic. Make a plan on how to avoid those mistakes in the future. So this is the most important, and this is why we analyze our games in the first place. Because if you say, okay, my mistake was that, but then you don't know how to avoid this mistake in the future, then you're not going anywhere. You are on the level of those two players we were talking about. You just kind of, this was a bad move I made, but you can even maybe answer the question why I made those moves. And, sometimes maybe the answer will be, my opponent was so annoying, he kept offering me draws, I got distracted, and that's why I made this mistake. And then, so how to avoid those mistakes in the future? To tell my opponent, shut up. I'm just kidding. But the point is that you have to decide what you should do to avoid those mistakes in the future. Again, let's take some examples. For instance, with bad blunders. So let's go over all those patterns which I was talking before, and we'll try to establish some kind of a solution for each one of them. Though maybe solution is the wrong word, but at least an attempt for a solution, because the road to improvement is usually a very difficult one, and you should try different kind of things before you actually succeed. Anyway, bad blunders. So bad blunders can happen. A, the lack of concentration. B, playing too fast. C, underestimating your opponent's resources, and so forth. So you try to think which one was the reason for your mistake. Let's say we found out which one. Let's say the underestimating your opponent's resources. So this knowledge alone is already a huge breakthrough. So when I play my games, I'm always thinking, what can I do? And I never think about what can my opponent do. How do I improve that? Needless to say, the answer to most of those questions is practice. You have to do something at home which will help you to improve this problem during the game. If you are not paying attention to what the opponent does, then what you need to do at home is to play, let's say, some games on the internet, or even games against computer, or playing through Grandmaster games, trying to guess the Grandmaster moves, with this one idea in mind. What will be my opponent's next move? What is his threat? What is his idea? And so now you're playing chess not to win. You're playing chess to improve your problem. You're just focusing on this one narrow area. You are obsessed about your opponent instead of thinking, what can I do? Which is normally your question. And you will be amazed how useful this approach will be and how much you will improve in this area. And of course, it will improve your overall results as well. This is also true about every type of mistake that you make. If you start focusing on this mistake, you are going to improve in this area. It does not guarantee that you will be able to improve your results for sure, because maybe improvement in results will come after a series of those fixes, but at least you will fix this particular lead. As an example, let's say that you improved in the area of watching your opponent, right? So you are not making a blunder when you make a move and you don't see a checkmate in one. But then you start losing games because of a new problem. Now, let's say you are losing games because of time travel, because you spend so much time trying to figure out what the opponent needs to do. Then you try to attack this problem, and you try to think, what can you do with this problem? And meanwhile, you're improving. So maybe your results will go up after the third or fourth league fix. But in any case, you will, that's the right direction. That's how you improve your chess. If we start talking about time travel, let's talk about this. How to improve time travel. This is probably one of the most difficult questions. It's a serious, time travel is a serious psychological problem. First of all, I recommend writing down the time after every single move. You make a move, you look at the clock, and you just write down whatever the clock says. It doesn't take any time from your clock because you do this after you play your move. But later, after the game is over, you look at the score sheet and you know exactly how much time you spend on every move. And it allows you to see when there were moments when you spend too much time. By the way, I would recommend this method for everyone, regardless whether you have time trouble or not, because very rarely time management is not an issue at all. Some people play too slow, some people play too fast. So using this tool will allow you to control your time management. First of all, ask yourself a question. Did this really help you? You played 15, you spent 15, 20 minutes on one move. So did you play best move? I doubt it. I'm sure you will find a move which will be at least as good as the move you played, and a lot of times you will find you played bad move after 15, 20 minutes thinking. So you will have to see those examples a lot before it will eventually sink in. It doesn't matter how much time I spend. I'm not going to play a good move anyway. So if I'm going to play a mediocre or bad move, I would rather play it quickly. So this is just one of those tricks, one of those techniques. When you attack your mistakes in this type of manner, when you focus on them and you try to think how to avoid them in the future, there is no question you are improving. And this will be the first step in this direction. Sometimes you do need, actually often enough, you do need to do some extra chess work. Just to identify the problem is not enough. I was talking mostly about psychological problems, which do need also some psychological work maybe. It depends on how deeply you understand the problem in order to fix it. Because sometimes you know you're supposed to pay attention to the opponent's threats, but if you do this consistently, clearly, you knowledge is not enough. You just need to do it. But at the same time, your problem could be just pure lack of positional skills, for instance, right? If you constantly see that you are left with bad pieces and your opponent just rolls over and squeezes you, that's a chess problem. You need to fix it by studying chess, and the best way to improve this problem is to study grandmaster games in which you pay attention how do grandmaster handle their pieces. Like on every single move, you ask question, where is a good piece, where is a bad piece? And when you look at the bad piece, you try to figure out how to improve this position of this piece. And when does grandmaster gonna do that? And so forth. So if you make tactical mistakes, it's maybe not only a question of concentration or not paying attention, it's maybe a question that you are not good in tactics. Therefore, you need to solve a lot of puzzles, and this will improve your tactical skills, and so forth. So those are already kind of details, but at least I try to give you an outline. I try to give you all the tools you need to analyze your gains, to find mistakes, to think why you make those mistakes, and then to make a plan on how to avoid those mistakes in the future. Stay tuned for continuation of series How to Improve Your Chess. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.